So the tech space has been going crazy again about yet another AI thing. Devin, if you haven't heard of Devin, everybody's bashing Devin on Twitter everywhere. Down with Devin, death to Devin. Devin is a new, well, I guess their marketing team is calling it the first AI software engineer. Everybody's worried. Is like, Devin going to take my job? No, it's not. This is no different. I mean, the same thing happened when ChatGPT came out, it was going to replace all software engineers. When Copilot came out, it's pretty much like, hey, with Copilot, one engineer can do the work of 3 or 4. So, companies are going to fire 8 of the engineers, keep 2 of them, and give those to Copilot. And that's just not how it works, for obvious reasons. If you have used these AI tools, coding assistants, man, I mean, think about Copilot, backed by Microsoft, whatever. I mean, that thing, it's got one of the biggest companies behind it pushing on it. And I mean, have you ever tried to use it? I mean, it's seriously not that good. It's like surprisingly disappointing that it can't write a unit test for a simple Python function very well. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it auto-completes. It's sort of nice. It's sort of not, because honestly, a lot of times these tools go down the wrong roads when they're suggesting code. They have bugs, they don't work. It's like, I don't even know if it's really saving me time in the end, or is it adding time? We can argue about, is it going to get better? Hopefully it gets better over time, but man, there is a long ways to go. I think the big problem with all these AI coding tools is that they just really lack what a senior engineer brings to the table, which isn't just spitting out globs of code. I'll link to an article in the description I wrote about this, about what makes a good senior engineer a good engineer. And honestly, like, writing a bunch of code is just really not on the list. Like, anybody can output a bunch of code. It's really not about that. It's about mentoring others. It's about driving projects, planning projects, making decisions, making trade-offs, knowing what trade-offs to write and to give. It's knowing what features to write, what features not to write. It's about working with product and other teams. It's just about being human, basically, being able to not just be a coding machine, but to be able to take your humanness and apply it to coding. And that's what makes good senior engineers and staff and principal engineers. It's not just spitting out code, which is what these tools are going to do. Honestly, most of the marketing material they put out is just not reality, right? I mean, anybody can make a video, make it look good. Look, I can make this, write this code in no time, make this application. And the reality is, I guarantee it, if you tried to use it for your use case, it's probably going to fall on its face. I mean, I don't know. It's up to you. In this grand scheme of things, can these tools make our lives better? Yes. Do I use coding assistants? Yes, I do. Have they made my life easier? I'm not really sure about that. I don't think they're good enough. Honestly, I probably waste more time using them than they save me, just because they're never right, and they might lead me down paths that I shouldn't go down, and lead me down rabbit holes, and just create more problems in the end. Hopefully they get better over time, but again, I'm not really worried about it, because 50% of my job is writing code. The other 50% is doing non-coding things and providing value in other ways. So I don't know. Is Devin going to take your job? No, not unless you're, I don't know, just a terrible programmer. Maybe you should be fired anyways, but Devin's not going to take your job. None of this AI stuff's going to take your jobs. It's going to make more jobs, more companies being created, more data needed to do that. So good time to be in the data space. I encourage you, if you've never been around these LLM tools much, I've done 2 posts on how to fine-tune your own LLM, OpenLlama, how to run it on your laptop. I think sometimes pulling back the curtain on this technology can take some of the scaries away. I don't know. I feel sorry for any company that uses Devin, honestly. It's just going to create more problems than it's worth, and somebody's going to have to be the overlord of that machine. So good luck with that.